What's good, everybody? It's your man Legacy the Prince.
I am CEO AALIYAH.
It's your boy DJ B4EY.
Yes, sir. It's the Fresh Leftovers radio show, man. We got a special guest in the building. Miss Brenda Palmer. What's going on?
What's up, y'all?
What's poppin'? You enjoying yourself so far?
I am. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. Like I warned you when you walked in. I warned you.
Just real quick. You was recording the whole time?
No.
Okay, good.
She was like, yo, man, they don't flew me.
He said, oh my God.
Flew
Yeah,
out.
we not like your podcast where y'all talk, Jesus all day, every day.
Now, we have fun, man. We love God, as you can tell, you know what
And
I'm
we
saying?
just bring it on home.
Listen, I love that.
I'm telling you, man. So listen, this is your first time on the Fresh Leftover platform, GH3 Nation. Let everybody know who Brenda Palmer is, because you have a very decorated resume that I really
I hate
like.
decorated. I
Oh,
hate
shoot.
that.
No, it's beautiful. Like, what are you talking about? It's yellow. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, for real, we ain't never got a bio like that.
Yeah, we used
Just the words.
They just copy the paste in the email.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
This look like a goddamn.
Her
Really?
assistant sent that.
Wow.
Oh.
She ain't even send it. It came from her people.
Wow.
I did him. I said, go ahead and see somebody. She said, I had my people get us your people.
Wow.
I said, okay.
Wow.
Is that, don't say wow. Is it real? For real?
Let's just chill, guys.
It's too much, guys.
She
too
does.
much.
She got an
Too much.
assistant.
Nah, she had to.
So we might as well just dive in and figure this whole thing out. Who is Brenda Palmer? Talk to me.
I'm weak. Yeah, who is Brenda Palmer? I am a preacher, a podcaster, and a producer. It's my life right now. It's full-time podcaster. I travel around the country to preach. I also host these pop-up events called Come Alive. I'm doing one in Atlanta this week. Yeah.
Oh.
It's tomorrow,
Why
right?
would you just not
It's
find out?
tomorrow.
For real?
Why would you just not find out about it?
That's crazy.
That's
I don't
Aaliyah.
know.
Dang.
Sorry, guys.
She hit me up. She said, hey, friend, I'm be in town this day and this day. I said, we got you this day. Hey, listen, I just
She
did
didn't ask
my
you?
job. When I met you, I said, I'm going to, what I say?
You did. You said whenever you come to Atlanta, you got to come to the show. I'm like, cool.
And she hit me up and she's here.
That's amazing.
Welcome.
That's amazing.
Welcome.
So how'd you get into preaching? Because you've been at some pretty dope spots.
Yeah.
What are some places you've
Yeah,
you've
how did
had
you
to-
get there? Like, people come in and like have to preach at their own place for a while and whatever. I don't know if you did that or not. Or like start their own Bible study first. Then somebody discovered them and then they, but it's like,
Really?
You just don't end up at the Potter House.
yeah,
now.
she
You
just,
you don't end
shoot
up on
past-
TD stage. Just
this girl's on One Man Evolve. I said, hold on. Who is that?
Hey, y'all are so funny. No, preaching is new, and I didn't want any parts of it. It's just kind of like a, I guess it's what we doing kind of thing. The Potter's House that just happened, that was random. Like I actually, the funny thing is, I was originally supposed to produce that event, and then like 2 months ago, I turned it down because it just didn't work with my schedule. And then Wednesday,
You what?
yeah, I can only do what the Lord said I could do in this season.
Oh,
Ooh,
and he
okay.
told you to turn down the
Yeah,
Potter's House?
yeah, because it just wasn't conducive for my schedule.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I was attending like One LA. That's my church when I'm in LA, and like Pastor Teray, Pastor Sarah, like my spiritual parents. So I've helped with Woman Evolve over the years, and so they like hit me up like, hey, would you like to take over Hey You? And originally I said yes, and then God's like, who said that? And then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So then 2 months ago, we were like on a planning meeting. I'm like, I sat in 2 meetings. I'm like, I can't do this right now. And so, yeah. And then I got the call Wednesday. And then, Hey You happened that Friday. And on the plane, God's like, you worried about a check and I'm trying to establish you.
Dang.
So that's how it happened.
Hit you right in your chest on first class.
That's
boy.
real obedience, bro.
Yeah.
How you get to that level? Because I want us to rewind a little bit. Where did your walk with God first start?
Okay, so I grew up a PK, and then I enjoyed college the way most people enjoy college.
Like what?
Expound.
Please, 'cause I'm-
You know, I live life. I turned up. I used to get high. I pledged Delta. So
don't point at me.
whatever. You know how life, you know what life be like in college. You know what I'm saying? No. I went to Mississippi Valley State for 4 years, and then I went to Syracuse for grad school. And I just was kind of like living life however I wanted to live life. I was like, I always say I grew up in church, but I didn't grow in relationship.
Right.
Jesus.
That's a lot of people.
Till maybe like my sophomore year in college, and I started getting like understanding like, oh, this book we read applies to the life I live every day. Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Never saw that, but cool. And so then, yeah, I feel like they kind of.
How was your life with your parents growing up? Like, how was that at home?
It was pretty cool. I don't feel like I have the typical PK life. Like, I'm the youngest of 10, but
Dang.
I'm the only
my
child.
God.
If that makes sense. So my parents were both married before me, and then they had me together.
Oh.
I'm the only one they have together, but I have 9 other siblings.
Okay. Hold on.
The Brady Bunch, man. That's crazy.
You confused?
They all live
I
in
can
the
see it
same
on their
house?
face. No. They're all older. So maybe some of them lived with us throughout my life,
Okay.
but not like all of us in the house at the same time.
Just you.
Yep. And then my mom had her tubes tied, but I still came.
Dang. It was a mission.
It was.
Why do you think, and we talk about this on the show a lot, so I want to talk about this with you. Why do you think majority of PKs have to rededicate their life after they leave from with their parents?
I think it's because you get to see both sides of it. I think like I fortunately saw my parents live the same life in church and out of church.
Okay.
Good. That's
But
good.
I think you also see how people in the church take advantage of pastors. Like my parents gave a lot, and then I also think like I just got tired of going to church. Just like I'm tired of this, and it was not necessarily the only life I knew because I had a lot of freedom growing up too. So I could go to other people. I know some PKs who always had to be at church. I was able to like play sports and like do other stuff even if it happened on Sundays. Like I pretty had like a liberal life or whatever. But I think it's because you grow up in systems and you grow up in religion, so it doesn't hold once you get out. It's like I go to church every week because it's what my parents want me to do.
Right.
But then it's not until you have a real relationship with Jesus that becomes your actual life. And so I think that's just what it was. I did church.
So what happened in your sophomore year that made you be like, okay, I can't play with this no more? Like,
I think I just had it became real to me. Like I started going to this other church, which turned out to not be the greatest church after a while.
Which one was that?
you need to stop. He messy.
So messy.
Right.
It's so messy. It doesn't matter. But that church changed my life because the way that the word was taught was more, it was like applicable. So it was like, oh, this is how this translates to my everyday life or whatever. And so I feel like once having that encounter, then I think my convictions got different. So I didn't feel as comfortable going into spaces that were beneath me because it was like, this don't even feel right. Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I
sis,
was
go
gonna,
ahead, go
I was
ahead.
gonna ask you,
When stuff started to feel uncomfortable for you, how did you like manage still trying to do this walk with God, but not what people think end up happening, which is losing yourself?
Yeah. No, I think I did lose myself. I think I went through that. I think I went through a lot of back and forth. I went through a lot of compromise. I went through a lot of kicking it at school, then going home and switching it up and being at church, or not feeling like I could do anything at church because I was clowning at school. So I feel like I went through a lot of back and forth until I was talking to a mentor. I'm like, it's so hard to live for Jesus. And she's like, it's not, it's a decision.
I like
So
that.
good.
And then I'm like, so now when people ask me, I'm like, no, it's a decision. And when you get tired of doing whatever you doing, like, and living, but it doesn't feel good. It's like in your mind, you want to think like you are enjoying this, but when you go home, it's not who you are. And I feel like God will never let you settle in something that is beneath who He created you to be. So even if you enjoying it for the moment, it don't last.
So
It don't
what,
last.
what was your degree in though?
Undergrad is mass comm, like broadcast. Hello, sir.
Oh, now y'all
now you wanna
shaking
be
hands.
mad.
They trying to
Now you
dust
wanna
that
be
down.
Communication.
So when you say you're a producer, what type of producer?
So content. So most of the things I've done have been in like the digital space. I also worked as a producer on a women's talk show on TBN called Better Together. I did that like for a year and a half, and then I have a production company called Creative Collab. So during 2020, I was running production at the Potter's House 1 LA. I produced a show with Angela Rye on Tidal called you better. Amen. The Main Thing, which was like kind of interviewing people about we got Snoop Dogg to vote for the first time. That was really cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I've done like stuff here and there. Like most of it was freelance because LA is kind of like that.
Yeah.
So how are you traveling everywhere, preaching, teaching, doing this podcast with Stephanie, then you freaking a content creator and you helping because you help other people.
Yeah, create
so
content.
like, do you ask God, do I accept this gig? I help this person with content?
Yeah, no, it's for sure like the top of this year, God gave me some instructions. Like these are the things you work on. So it was Come Alive. I have my own podcast called Life in Perspective. And then I'm also writing a book right now. And I host a weekly Bible study. And so those are like the things I needed to do. I was working a full-time job at a church, like about to become a pastor. and I preached my last sermon there January 8th. And in the sermon, I can remember saying, like, 2023, like, I want this year to be about walking with God. I didn't know what that meant. And then
He was like, all right.
He said, bet. Thank you for that. Thank you for giving me permission. And then 2 days later, he was like, you got to go.
How did you tell them?
Oh, it was tough, but not really. Because what I've learned is, like, I just need to follow God. Because I've been in spaces where God's like, move, and I'm like, no, but what about, you know, all of these things that we give God when he say do something. And the reality is, if I choose all of those things, then that is really my God.
How was it received though?
No, I think they understood. So originally, when I accepted this position at this church, because I went there in 2021, I only committed to a year.
Okay.
I said, like, I feel like this is an assignment. I think I just need to be here for a year. Well, the assignment was me. I didn't know that until after the fact. And so they were about to consecrate me as a pastor like February 5th. That ended up being my last. It's you with the words. You're taking me out. But that was going to be my last Sunday there. Mm-hmm. And then I was on a vacation until I preached. And then on the 10th, I'm sitting at my desk and I'm just like, I don't got the grace for this anymore. Like I oversaw worship, production, and communications. And I'm like, I have nothing to give my team. I don't have a grace for it anymore. God's like, it's time to go. I had a meeting scheduled with the executive pastor that day already on my calendar, and I went in. He's like, how's Brenda doing? He's like, you can tell me personal, professional, whatever you want to do. I said, well, I'm glad you asked.
Time to go, buddy.
I think my time's up here. And he was like, he said, you about to become a, I was like, yeah, about that. I don't really have a piece about that either.
Oh my God.
Why do you think people always try to run to that though? You know, to become a minister and preacher and stuff like that.
I don't know, because I'm good on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do know. I feel like we have created this celebrity culture.
It's the pinnacle of success.
It is.
Church
which
culture.
Is really unfortunate, because to be a pastor is really to be a shepherd and to serve people.
Yeah.
It actually has nothing to do with some of the things that we see in the forefront. And I think people are chasing that and failing to realize, like, that's 20% of the job.
Yeah, it's so
Preaching
much
on the platform is 20% of the job. Being a pastor is answering phone calls in the middle of the night and walking and journeying through life with people and discipling them and seeing them grow. It's about shepherding people and caring about their lives and showing up at funerals and you know what I'm saying, dedicating
Hospitals.
babies. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff, like sacrificing the time you don't have. That's what being a pastor is. And I think, like, I'm actually good on that, unless it's what God called me to do.
Because I was going to ask you, since you said sacrificing, how much of a sacrifice did your parents make?
A lot.
And then how did you feel about that? Like, was it a balance situation? Because, you know, I was listening to another guy say out of the corner how he was saying that a lot of times the balance of, because of a need of a pastor, have to go and do prayer and go and do all these things for everybody else. But how was that balance at home?
I think as a kid, there are sometimes I didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can remember my entire 8th grade year, like, my parents never came to one game.
Dang.
Like, I remember that. And now being an adult and being in ministry, like, I get it. Because my parents were pastors and they worked full-time jobs.
Dang.
So it just wasn't time, you know? And, like, I had a godmom, and my godmama was at every game. So in their minds, they like, as long as somebody's there, right? But I remember that. I remember, like, my entire 8th grade year, they didn't show up to one game.
Did you guys ever talk about it?
Was you nice?
I was. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I was like,
I was still nice. All right.
You who?
Still nice.
You who?
Anytime.
Pool table.
Not pool. He said, remember what happened at that pool table.
Yeah. But not like, did you guys ever talk about that?
Yeah, I think, yeah. And like I'm very vocal even as a kid. And I'll be like, y'all ain't come. And then also, like, being able to have space to say that, I think is also important too. I've always had an open relationship with my parents to be able to say, like, no, this hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I do think that is why a lot of PKs are scarred, because people sacrifice their home for the church, and that's not the correct order.
Yeah. That's something I'm kind of slick working on.
Huh? I'm
not a preacher or anything, but it's a balance.
Yeah, I think parents have to balance that. Period.
It's tough.
Yeah.
You think it's tougher for men?
For men,
Absolutely.
I think so too.
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted to hear what you was gonna say.
I just said
Oh
absolutely.
no, I ain't taking it, but it's tough. We like recently had this conversation at home about time spent.
Yeah.
Like put in work
No.
before.
Well, and like for instance, a lot of times, men we feel that we're out here working and hustling to provide.
Providing. Yep.
However,
Presence is as important.
exactly the point. So even though we got to make sure bills are paid and this is taken care of, we still got to make sure that we spend some time in this, and it's a balance, and it's kind of difficult at times. And I think it's in seasons. Kids don't understand until they get to a certain age.
Yeah.
Because like my son would say, "Where's Dad? He's not here," and that hurts. You know what I'm saying? Because right now my daughter, she young, she see me, she happy to see me, cool. But my son is very aware. He knows my schedule. He know I'm here tonight. He know when I get paid, all this good stuff. I don't understand. I don't be knowing when I get paid. But he know. But to hear my wife come to me and tell me about it, it's like, man, so now like right now I'm working on shaving things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sure.
and for her as well, not just the kids, but for my wife on top of that. Like she needs that time too.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? So is that cool with
you? It's cool.
Okay, so with
Y'all need to stop coming at him.
I'm sorry. Well, I know you said you work full time in a church. So how did you separate work life from the intimate worship? Like, how did it not become just this is what I'm supposed to do every day? Like, when did you have that intimate time? Like, okay, this is my time that I have to dedicate to the Lord. Like, how did you do that?
No, that's a great question. I think I had to be super intentional, especially because, like, if it's your everyday life, and when I show up to church on Sunday, it's work. In the sense of like I'm making sure the service goes off, like making sure everything goes, and so it's like being intentional, creating a space in my own personal time, and I don't play around with that because I mentioned that before I moved to LA, I was a part of a church, and I experienced like a crazy betrayal or whatever. Like it had the ability to like make me walk away from God. Period.
Oh wow!
But because I had a relationship with Jesus, I was able to separate the two and go like, oh, okay, I know the character of God. This doesn't align with that, so I'm off y'all, but I'm still rocking with God. You know what I'm saying? And so I know how important it is to establish a relationship with Jesus apart from what I do. And I also learned I experience burnout when I'm not. Like, when I'm not getting my own time in, I'm pouring from an empty cup. And you can only pour so much before it's like, all right. And then I recognize, like, okay, now I'm depressed. Now I'm sad. Now I'm not. Like, I can't. It's like, okay, because I've been out of the presence and I've just started working.
So this might be a weird question, but working for a church full time, Monday through Saturday, Sunday, that don't get boring? Like the repetition of just church every single day?
Well, you wouldn't be doing the same thing every single day, right?
I understand your point, which is why I have so many jobs, because I get bored very easily.
Okay.
And for me, I think the last church I was at, it was like I was just trying to follow the Lord, because he moved me out of LA, like 2 hours away from LA. So I really couldn't do production in that.
So you get bored easy?
Very much so.
You think we gonna worship every single day in heaven?
Oh my God!
Oh my God! Come on, man! You saw that setup?
Annoying.
And we gonna talk about it later. It's all good.
So annoying.
Yeah, I do this. That was a good setup. That was a
tough.
good setup. You saw how I walked into
around.
that?
I see he hesitated. He was like, Lamar, don't say nothing, please.
It's not.
Yeah, he kept doing that.
I was
Every time I
like,
looked at him, he was
wait a minute.
Yeah, I
Like,
see.
he was
I see,
in
but that's not it's not valid.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. It's
I
okay.
don't want you to.
Yeah, that's a whole
Okay,
side conversation.
how?
Please.
So okay, you was in Chicago and then you went to school in Mississippi.
Yeah.
So how did God tell you to move to LA?
So I went to undergrad in Mississippi. I did grad school in Syracuse.
Okay.
So and when you do Syracuse, it's either New York or LA. That was 2014. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'm going to LA.
Oh, you just made the.
Yeah. And but stuff started falling apart. So like where I was gonna stay was crazy. I had like interviews, but I didn't really have a place to stay. Like stuff wasn't working. So now I was like, oh, okay, maybe God said not right now. And so originally I was supposed to go in June, then it moved back to August, and then I didn't end up moving to LA till 2018.
From 2014?
From 2014. I went to visit LA in 2016, and God told me to move April of 2017, and I didn't move.
Why?
Out of fear and out of loyalty to the place I was in. It was kind of I did a lot of stuff there, and I was just like, what they gonna do if I leave? Like,
I was about to say, speak about loyalty.
Yeah. The only person you need to be loyal to is the Lord.
Facts. So question, like throughout all of this, how did you go about developing such a strong relationship with God? Because it's not easy for most people to just believe and have the type of faith to hear the voice of God and know exactly, all right, God is saying this, let me not move. Yeah. Or is this really me? Or is it God? Or is it like, how did you develop that, you know what I'm saying, that level of 1, trust, 2, faith, and the list goes on. But how'd you go about developing all of that?
I think 2 things. I think it comes from not listening the first time and experiencing what the heck happened when I didn't listen. Like making a decision to not, which is what happened. Like he said 2017, he said April of 2017, I didn't go. I stayed at that church for another year. And then I wow. And then I experienced like the betrayal. Like,
that's when that hurt thing happened.
It literally
so you
happened.
probably wasn't even supposed to go through that.
And it literally happened a year later, April of 2018.
So it was your fault.
So it was your fault. Good night. And so I think like in that sense, and who's to say like I wouldn't have experienced something, because that moment of my life marked my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't be the person I am today without that journey. But if I could have went without it, for sure I would be good. So I think it comes from that, knowing like when God says go and don't go, I'm good. Because when God says go,
that's why I'm out.
Yeah. And so now I don't play with that. You know what I'm saying? I think the other thing is learning to take a step when I feel like I hear God and experiencing the fruit of it. Okay. So for example, February, God told me to leave my full-time job without a plan. My stuff is in storage in Temecula, California. I just travel. I live in my friends' houses when they're on tour, like back and forth between Chicago and LA. And I could say like, I don't know if I'm supposed to do that. Well, Friday I just preached at the Potter's house. So it's the fruit of, okay, all right, God, I don't know where this is going to lead. I don't know what's happening right now. I hate to not have a plan. Like that don't sound right. And stability sounds really good until God ain't in it. And it's not stable.
That's so good.
So that 4-year situation, you was just still serving at the same church?
Yeah. So between 2014 and 18. Yeah. So I started serving at that church. I worked at H&M with 2 degrees. I worked at H&M, and then I started volunteering at the church, which transitioned to like, okay, I went from a volunteer, then they put me on staff part-time, then they put me on staff full-time, and then I like all of the skill set I currently use now though came from that church. Like I did everything. I was like running social media. I was like planning book tours. I was like traveling. They had like albums. It was like all kind of stuff. So it wasn't like it was what I needed. You know what I'm saying? But I also know like if that situation would have never happened, I probably would still be in Chicago at that church.
So all right. So with all the travel that you have going on, like, I'm trying to figure out, bro. How do you rest? I mean, I know you young and all that.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying.
No. I have to, especially now. I have to be intentional about it. So, like, other than this with y'all today, I ain't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm staying at my friend's parents' estate, which is crazy. I'm like, I don't want to go nowhere. I just want to stay here forever. Like, it's super cool, but like carving out times to rest, and like my team makes sure I do that because I'm always going.
So you do take vacations?
Yeah.
And you step away from ministry?
Yeah.
How long?
It depends. Like,
do you recommend it?
Oh, absolutely. It's necessary.
Why?
Because you can't keep giving. Rest is even the Lord rested.
Spiritual.
It's biblical.
It's biblical.
Sometimes I be
he
going
took
like
6 days and then he did what? Rest. So if God, like the God had to rest, how could we think in our human capacity?
I think that was for us.
For
to
sure.
See.
Yeah.
Like, God don't need
He don't need rest.
But it's just like,
let me show you how this go.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I definitely get that. I mean, that's another thing that I work on. I'm working on now because I be going to stretch like 7 days, just work.
No, you have to rest. Because
You think I'm cap?
I ain't saying nothing.
The face this.
He said, well, when's the last time you worked 7 days straight? You petty.
I didn't say a word.
Yeah, face said it. No,
face said everything. No, sometimes I DJ outside, working 9 to 5.
Go hard.
Then DJ on the weekends. Then serving at 2 different churches on the.
Yeah, I think I mean, I don't know your life, but I think you gotta check the root of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's driving that? Because usually it's a fear of being without, or it's a fear of lack, and feeling like, okay, I got to do this, this, and this, because I got to make sure this is good, this is good, this is good, which means the dependence is on you and not on God.
That's literally what we discussed. We discussed this Monday or Tuesday, my wife and I. It was like, and I had to learn. A friend of ours was talking to me. She's like, Lamar, where do you think that stems from?
Yeah.
And I told my wife about it. Like, I think it came from here because, growing up in a home, like, not as many as you guys did, but it was like four of us. None of our fathers are the same, so it was like I did have an understanding of, it wasn't just about me, but there's always something I wanted or things I knew as I got older that we didn't get because. So now I try to make sure I have it.
For you,
like sometimes for myself too. You know what I'm saying? Not just about them and my family. Sometimes it's about me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, a lot. This week for me has been I had to slow down totally, and I'm man, it's
you all right?
Yeah, because I'm just trying to. I don't really. It's so much that I have to break away things, and I don't know how to slow down because I just like to keep going.
Sure.
I love, even when things are going down, like especially at work, right? Things happen. I'm that person that I like to talk. Like, I mean, like as soon as they happen, I'm the fixer.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying this week of what's coming out of it because now I'm cutting some things off that I can't do anymore.
And you want to do it before God have to do it for you. You know what I'm saying? And I identify with that. Like, I like to do stuff. Like, I like to work. So even if I'm resting, I'm like cutting a clip on my phone or like I gotta upload this. You know what I'm saying? So like right now, like I've taken a month down from social media. Like I still be popping in and out, but somebody else is running it because I recognize that like, okay, this need a break. And now that because it's my life, I have to separate it. And I also am dealing with why you feel like you always need to be doing something. Like rest is productivity. Like you cannot do anything without rest. And now I feel like I'm in this season where God's like, okay, you thought you was the source? Got it. Now give me all of that. Give me the job, give me all of this, and then we'll just toss you out there. You'll do whatever I say do. You know what I'm saying? And so I've been in a space where it's like, okay, I'm learning to release and just follow whatever God want me to do.
So talk about God speaking to you, like hearing God's voice in disobedience. So like you said for God told you to go to LA at this time, but you didn't do it. Yeah. During that time, in your disobedience, was you hearing from God like that you knew that, like, were you getting personal convictions from God, like you knew that you was still supposed to go, but you felt like what, like you had time, like?
No, I think like I didn't recognize it was disobedience until after the fact. Okay. You know what I'm saying? You know how you go back and go like, dang, well, God did say this. I think that I attributed what I heard to my own personal desires. You know what I'm saying? And then like when you have a spiritual leader and you take something to them and they don't always stamp it, then it also makes you second guess if you aren't sure. So let's say I went in 2016, I told them like, hey, I'm going to make a transition April 2017. My boss, the guy that worked in my department, he quit January of 2017. He just didn't come back from Christmas break. He just sent so then I'm like, it's probably not meant for me to go because the conditions didn't seem like they were aligned with what I felt like I was saying. So it wasn't until after the fact where I felt like, oh, God probably was trying to get me up out of here before this. You know what I'm saying? And so I think like I've learned, and you know what I'm saying? Like I think there's grace is not the same kind of grace because I still had to experience some things, right? But then there's also God giving another chance. Like, girl, you gotta go. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, like, my life now makes sense on why I needed to go. But I think, like, God redeemed the time. But I think you can for sure still hear God in disobedience. It's just, at what point are you going to listen? You know what I'm saying? Like, because God don't just be like, oh, you didn't listen, bye. It's like, no, it's not his character. But, I mean, at what point, though, are you going to be like, okay, I'm going to surrender to what you want me to do?
Now listen,
I don't like this part.
It's all good.
I was about to say, what the world? What you know?
It's
I
our
don't know.
Investigative journalism here at its finest. Okay, so we got a segment on our show that we do We haven't done it in a minute.
We haven't done it in a minute.
Yeah, we haven't done it in the new stew, man. It's called Explain That Post, man. So we just do a deep dive on the gram, on Twitters, on the socials. Now, Brenda did a really good job
cleaning up.
Her PR cleaned her whole joint up because everything looked professionally shot. I'm like, dang, I can't find nothing. So I was like, let me step out the realm of the funny and step into the realm of like, let me just see what this is about. You know what I'm saying? So listen, we got a couple of
we bless God for the archive.
Yeah.
You know, we like that button.
Well, y'all got to take the archive.
We're going to start right here. I think this was pretty dope, man. I just wanted to see what's going on. A couple of my favorite people right here. Snoop Dogg, Angela Rye, man. Talk to us, man. What happened with this?
So I told y'all earlier, so I worked with Ange on creating a show called The Main Thing for Tidal. And Snoop was our first episode. It was kind of like a show kind of getting people to talk about voting. This was like 2020 election, so it was a really important election for us. Yeah. So we had sat down and had conversations, and so we got Snoop to vote for the first time because California passed a law like about people who had been to prison. Originally, they didn't have voting rights. Right. They had, so we sat down and Snoop voted for the first time.
So that's great.
You still got Angela's number?
Good night.
I'm just asking.
Not good night.
I'm just asking. Angela Rye, one of my favorite political.
I feel like I know a lot because of her.
Oh, because she brings it, like she drops
and
it.
She's hilarious.
And like she dropped the gems for the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
She put it in the lingo that makes sense, man. Yeah. But I like it. All right, so up next we got, let's see. Oop, that's us. I like this one. What was going on here?
All right, so this is my introduction to Centerpoint Church when I transitioned. So I first started going there in June of 2021, and so he was like introducing me to the church. I had just joined the staff.
I want everybody to welcome.
Good night.
Hey, y'all got inspired.
Yo, this just
got a lapel and a microphone.
Oh, okay, now it's technical.
This look like I could just hear the guitar in the background. Listen, guys, we just want to just go ahead and.
I'm weak.
All right, last one. You probably seen it.
I'm weak. Okay,
what was going on
this
here?
This was College Sunday.
Well, she got them different world glasses.
That's
on.
what it was. It was College Sunday, and those are different world glasses. That's my favorite TV show.
Okay.
So it's College Sunday. That's my Mississippi Valley shirt on.
Different world versus
nothing. Different world's it.
Fresh Prince.
Different world.
Fresh Prince.
Different world.
Are you saying that because? Did it inspire y'all to go to HBCUs? I hear that a lot. That a lot of people got inspired.
It just shed light.
It was the best show. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing better than Different World.
Martin?
It had everything. Martin's cool. They're not in the same category.
That's just like
it's like Martin and Fresh Prince. There's nothing in Different World's category. I'm sure HBCU admission dropped. Different World went on TV.
Well, it was kind of like that.
I got you. Yeah, Different World is a.
No, it was good. It was a great show.
Great show.
You see, it wasn't too bad, right?
No, it wasn't bad.
That's all she had was just 3?
Because it's just tucked away.
You know.
No, you normally get some really bad stuff. That's why I'm
I couldn't find that on her IG, and then
they be cleaning up, but they don't want nobody.
We'll just leave that up there, just because.
Good night.
Yeah, we just leave that up there.
Just leave it up the rest of the night.
When you said it, I was like, oh, I bet you it was, but it's Facebook.
I couldn't. I looked up your name, and a bunch of white women popped up.
That's accurate.
That's accurate. I'm like, which one of these is her? I went and hit more. You still didn't pull up. I'm like, dang.
You said, Aaliyah, who did you invite to our show? Some old white woman.
I'm trying to tell you.
So can you send a picture of her right quick?
That's what I'm saying.
That's why my handle has to be I am Brenda Palmer, because it's too many.
It's like Legacy of the Prince.
Yeah, well, I can't even do that, man. The legacy of Prince pops up, man. It's crazy. So listen, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, cool. So listen, Brenda, just had a question for you, right? In the next 5 years or so, where do you see yourself?
What is that? Next, Jesus. I'm gonna be old.
Dang.
Where do I see myself?
Oh,
how old are you?
Yeah, how old am I right now? 32.
What?
I know, everybody thinks I'm a kid, but I'm not.
I ain't say you was a kid, but
I thought she was a kid, but I thought she was like 26.
I know, I get that. I lied.
Hold on, what you trying to say? You gonna be old?
It's who?
The guy off of a Different World.
Oh, Ron. First of all, Ron put on some pounds.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he came to our little thing like that. So
they gonna kick you off the show. Not playing.
Somebody mute his mic.
Yeah, we is.
we was talking about Different World.
I know, I'm just messing with you. But I'm just trying to trip on what she just said. In 5 years, she gonna be old.
That's not old.
I'll be like 38. I can 40.
So what that mean?
Old.
So DJ. Now.
Oh, sorry.
You can't DJ.
Hour or two. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, now he want to throw you.
Wow.
I forgot Champ. Champ don't got no hairline. Dang.
Wow.
years. Next 5 years, Brenda.
Next 5 years. For sure, in the next 5 years, the Lord willing, I would love to be married.
Okay.
You know,
She's single. Okay.
Like a little bit settled. I would probably reside in Austin, Texas.
Oh wow, why Texas?
Just Austin, Texas, because Austin, Texas is kind of like the South, and LA had a baby. And y'all ever been to Austin?
No.
That's why y'all. All
So no. Like, what about Austin, Texas?
No, it's really like a vibe.
This what the
It's
dope boys
Right,
is?
you don't know, baby D.
That's why you looking at me like that.
It's super chill. It's like an artsy place. That's where they have South by Southwest every year. Like it's really a vibe. Like if I wanted to, because I like the South, but yeah, I don't really like Dallas.
Oh, Houston.
No, she just said
Austin or Nashville.
Nashville,
Tennessee.
Cool. Nashville is cool. So yeah.
Like I would like to live there. California doesn't feel like a place I would want to raise my children.
Why?
How many kids do you want?
2, girl and a boy.
Huh?
So you're single right now?
No, I'm just asking why, cause she know.
You said what?
No.
She
I'm
answering
gonna
the
guess a
question.
lot of
I know it's a
questions
lot of
ain't
questions, but
supposed
she's
to
answering them.
What'd you say that?
But why did you want to raise them in LA? Like, I mean,
It just doesn't
California,
feel like
I'm
a
sorry.
place. It doesn't feel in California. Maybe like the place I was living, like the Temecula, Marietta. That's like family based. But LA, and I also don't like the curriculum is next level over there.
In LA?
Yeah.
Next
so the
level
whole
good?
gender,
Good?
no, like the whole gender stuff. They're doing that in schools. I'm good on my kids in that. I'll probably homeschool anyway, but LA just doesn't.
You think you
feel,
got time to homeschool?
I mean, maybe not me.
Okay.
Somebody else will
Somebody else
homeschool
can come
them.
to the house
You know what
and
I'm saying?
homeschool.
Somebody
You
else.
have a bag by then.
For
You
sure.
probably are.
Would you have a nanny?
I would. My mama probably. I already told
Are
her.
you gonna
Like
you gonna hire your mama?
they in Chicago right now, but I already let her know.
You and your mama
At least like
close?
the first 2 years. Yes.
Hold
yeah,
on.
My
They
parents too.
Still married, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Both
you
my
moving
parents.
them down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wherever I live.
Dang, that's straight then.
Yeah.
That's a
But
good
5
plan.
years. Yeah. I would like that. I don't know. I also would be down to live in the UK
That's different.
So you've been over there too?
next year. Yep.
Does you know how to live in there? The situation is?
Huh?
You know how the living situation is there?
No. How is it?
No, I'm
Like,
asking you. You said
oh.
you would have lived there, so
No,
I
I'm
was just
saying it wouldn't
curious.
I'm saying like if places to live. it
Okay,
wouldn't- it
I
wouldn't
got
be
you.
terrible.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Maybe
Gotcha.
Emmy, you know by then?
No, what's that?
Emmy. Like
Oh, I'm sorry.
you tired.
No. She said, "Do you know what Emmy?" I thought it was a place you were saying. Do you know
No,
about
I said
them?
and maybe an Emmy by then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
For sure.
That's what's up.
For sure.
That's my wife lane. I promise you, bro. I really
That's amazing, yo. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a.
So last one of my questions. Last questions. Y'all had anything else? No, I'm trying to get Brenda up out of here, man. So listen, always ask everybody this question. 100 years go by, right? And we look back on the life of Brenda Palmer. What do you want to be? What are 3 things you want to be remembered by?
3.
Yeah.
Dang. The first thing is that I loved Jesus with all my heart and served him with everything in me, authentically. The second thing, dang, 3 things is hard. Dang, her shoes was always fresh.
Not her shoes always.
Now we gotta
I
look.
need to see my shoes. Oh, they.
Put the kicks up.
Put them up there.
Shoe cam.
Don't fall back though.
Oh, okay.
Brenda,
I can't see nothing.
They
I just see the bottom of the shoe.
They are very white.
Brenda.
How often do you buy them? How often do you buy
I
them?
mean, like after 3 wears.
Thank you. I was telling her she gotta throw hers out.
Yeah, you can't
Forces
wear
after
them.
3
just
wears?
bought
Yes,
those.
because the little,
thank
whatever
you,
that
the
little
creases
cloth part
and it's
started
like, yeah,
dirty.
yeah.
You can't clean that.
What?
You gotta throw them out. Bro,
I mean, I just got money. I'm just saying, I ain't throwing
in the
that out.
summer.
I wear it's a 4.5.
Nah,
You wear a 4.5?
Oh, we wear the same size.
Oh, y'all some kids.
Not y'all some kids.
Feet.
Bro, in one summer I went through like 10.
Yeah, you can.
What?
What was you doing?
Just one.
it's
They
not-
only
Because
3
you,
wears.
it's because you was doing all of that at the front party. Joints got stepped on.
Like, no, seriously. Like,
Hey, bro, relax.
once you
Take
take
your
them out the
shoes
box-
off if you don't strut, man.
Once you take them out the box, you can never get that white again. That
Yeah.
fresh white. You
Well, don't buy white shoes.
Your
And it's
first
the
wear is the
cloth.
best wear. You know what I'm saying?
It's that cloth around the
Yeah.
toe. It
That
gets
once they
dirty.
get brown,
And you can't wash
You can
that.
clean that. You can
So
clean
what's
that.
your favorite
Yes, you
shoe?
can.
What's my? Ooh, It's hard.
Please say Jordan ones.
Yep, I was about to say that. Jordan and
What?
high and low. We don't fool with the mid.
No, of course, yeah.
That's some steppers though. You know they steppers.
He can't put his leg up here.
No, I can't put it.
Hey, shoot cam with no camera.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, no, we finished. This is a good.
Shoot cam with no camera. Go ahead.
Now he is in the shot.
Put your feet up right here, bro.
This
Put
is a
your
good
feet up right
interview.
here.
This is really great.
Put it right here.
I can't, bro.
Why not?
I'm weak.
Just do what she did. Scoot back and
And the next
Now
thing
ask-
you want to
ask
be
Aaliyah
remembered
to-
for?
I
for
don't.
5 years.
Oh shoot, y'all. 3 things is hard.
Oh, you said 2, so it was one. Last
I said
one.
2, right?
Yeah, that's what I said.
I don't know, bro. I'll
God, you almost hit that in the
he
face,
said
man.
he
Keeps
really
you
wants
dead.
you up here. I think so. There's a mantra I live by, like which is tied to his scripture he quoted earlier, Matthew 6:33.
Oh, yeah.
But like chase God and let my dreams catch me. And so I feel like that's the thing I would want to be
Oh, that
remembered
is-
for.
Can I take that?
Yeah, you can. I should say that on the show. I need to go trademark that real fast.
Yeah, you need to go. You need to
Too
get
late.
some. You need to get some merch.
I got my computer already. I'm about to go
That
trademark
is
it
so
right
good,
now.
though. I love that.
Chase God.
I'm
Let your dreams catch you.
Yeah.
I'm already on trademark.com.
Because you know.
That's-
Good night. I'm already on trademark.com.
That's so crazy because when I was on live the other day, that's one of the things I was talking about. Like, everybody's so, like, every time people get in a relationship with God, the first thing is to be like, God need to tell me my purpose. And I be like, bruh, get your relationship with God, and I'm telling you, you're going to fall into purpose.
That's really what happened to me.
So
like,
what do you do if you don't know your assignment? That's what it's like. What do you
I feel like it's the same thing as purpose, though.
Yeah.
Simon, okay, no, I take that back. You can answer the question.
I was waiting.
y'all are so funny.
I was
No, I
definitely
think so.
waiting.
This is my perspective of it. Is that I think we all have the same purpose, which is to know God and to make Him known.
Okay.
And then what we do in life is like the vehicle, but that can always change. So I
Exactly.
think the more you know God, then He determines when He releases you and where He releases you. And so I think we can get so obsessed with God. What you want me to do? What you want me to do? What you want me to do? How about who are you? And how can I know you on the deepest level?
Yeah.
And then portray that wherever I am. So I think we could get obsessed. So then our seek with God becomes about what you want me to do or what you gonna do for me instead of who He is. And then we get lost in that. I was like that. I was depressed at 25 years old. I was like, I don't know my purpose. The whole time I was living in it.
you
You
25?
know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm 20. Well, I just turned 26 today.
come on, 26 today.
You know what I'm saying? So the reason why I asked you that is because that's kind of where I like find myself now. So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see like, okay, like you said, you want to seek God and everything, but during that time, what's the occupation? I have to be doing something. You know what I'm saying?
Why do you feel like you have to be doing something? He made you a human being.
Because I have bills.
That's true.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Like I
So I think you should
having
work-
a job,
Yeah, a job.
negates your
Yeah.
purpose with God.
Yeah, 'cause-
You can have a
No, I'm
job
saying like
while
what
you.
avenue? Like sometimes like a job can steer you off. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you work
If
a
you
job,
allow it.
It depends on the job. You know what I'm saying? Because you can work a job, like you said, 7 days out the week. What time are you dedicating to God? So sometimes a job and your bills and all that can, I'm not going to say outweigh, but
Yeah, but it can
you
be a
get
distraction.
you get focused
For
on
sure.
doing that, trying to, like, hey, God know what I got to do. He know my heart. He know my situation. So sometimes I find myself in that where I'm trying to, I want to know God, but I still have a life to maintain.
For
You
sure.
know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yeah.
but go ahead. What
You know your spiritual gifts?
do I know my what?
Do you know your spiritual gifts?
No, I'm just good in like media, but that's about it though.
Okay. Later on after the show, I'm gonna show you something.
Okay,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I think, and I think you could still work a job while you discover your purpose.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and God will show you. Like, there are things that I did that prepared me for when God was ready to reveal or to push me into my purpose. You know what I'm saying? So I think like even working at H&M was a part of like knowing how to deal with people and knowing how to serve people. And so I think God can use anything and He'll use everything about your life. And so don't be so focused on like, okay, but is this attached to this? Like it's gonna all work together.
don't think about it
Yeah,
so
don't
much.
overthink it for sure. Because I know like in your 20s, people preach purpose all the time. And you be like, what the heck is that? And then you feel less than because you haven't discovered it. And it's like, no, just be chill.
Then you feel like you're doing something wrong.
And,
Yeah.
and one thing
Yeah, I
that I
understand.
always realize, I realize the scripture that says seek ye first the kingdom of God is so real, bro. Because the thing is, it's like it says seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all other things shall be added to you, right? So everything that you chasing after or going after, like
It
your
just-
passions, your things that you love, yada yada yada, all of that is gonna fall into place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because all of like his desire is for you to enjoy all that stuff. But take care of me first. Like come to me to get the GPS and the blueprint.
Yeah.
Once you do that, then everything else falls into place, and then you realize it's like, oh snap! All the stuff that I love is what you had planned for me anyway. Because you, bro, like let's be
He put
honest,
it
you
in.
didn't just wake up like, oh, I just got this. Oh man, this crazy idea.
No.
Oh, who you think gave you the idea?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I always got to tell myself, like, yo, bro, these ideas that you have,
It came from God.
they came from God, and He wants you to fulfill them.
Yeah.
He wants you to have fun. He wants you to do that. But come to me and just get the blueprint and the map and the GPS. Let me guide you to it versus you trying to go after it and then, like I always used to do, I used to chase these ideas and then go to God and ask Him for His stamp of approval.
He said, who
It's
said
like,
that?
bro, I mean, I said that, but this ain't the path.
Yeah.
I want you to go this way, and then I'm gonna take you this way.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, this is the shortcut. It's like, nah, I need you to go that way because there's a lot of things I need you to learn along the way.
sure.
You see what I'm saying? A lot of development. So when you get there,
You can sustain it.
you can sustain it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The character is developed where you can sustain it versus just getting to it. So I always keep that in my mind because
Yeah.
even, bro, I don't know where none of this is going.
Yeah, that's
And
I was
I'm just like,
that's what I was about to say. Like, I think making God like the focus is going. Every job I ever had came to me. Came to me.
That's legit.
Like
or
the Angela Rye thing, the Potter's House in LA thing, TBN thing. When I moved to LA, somebody sent me that job in October. And I was like, I'm not driving that far. I mean, I turned my nose up and everything. Swung back around April, that job was still there because it was mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, it's my mantra because I live by it. I'm going to chase God, and everything I could have dreamed of or didn't even know I wanted found me.
Okay. Nah, that's deep. You know what I'm saying? Because you find sometimes if you let it spiral out of control, you can find yourself in like, man, I
been
don't
there.
know what I'm like this lost feeling. You never feel like
been
every
there.
day you get up, you know what I'm saying?
For
You
sure.
just lost.
And
like,
some
bro,
days
I'm
ain't
here.
got up.
Oh yeah. So it's just like
Yeah.
no, I so when you said that, I definitely felt that. So,
Yeah.
okay.
facts,
That's
facts.
good. That's good.
So Brenda, man, let everybody know they can follow you. Man, you enjoyed yourself?
I did. I actually had a blast.
For real?
I did.
Don't just say that.
No.
'cause we here.
I've been some places that were not a blast.
Oh, for real?
That was not a blast.
Places like where?
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Wow.
I'm not gonna do
I
that.
just was like, woo, child.
I definitely
Glad
have to
you
chop that
enjoyed
joint
yourself.
up.
Yeah,
real
no, this
bad.
is fun.
So would you come back?
I would. Whenever I'm in Atlanta, I'll pull up on y'all.
Facts. So let
And
the-
even if you're not getting, I'm sorry, even
go
if you're not getting interviewed, we have a open door policy, so you can just always.
I would love to come hang out with y'all because y'all play a lot.
Well, it's normally just like
call us
that.
childish.
You are kind of checking.
Look at his face.
You
You
can
heard
play
all that
because
nice stuff I said
you
at the
can
end?
play-
That was revelation.
it was. It came on now.
He always save
I
it for
said-
the end, though.
I said, wow, you got some oil over there. Look at
Oh, no, I got the oil though. got the sauce though.
But you don't want to worship when you get to heaven.
See that?
Absolutely not. I didn't say that.
You gonna bring this
Brenda,
whole
I
thing.
did
Yeah.
not
He said he
say
don't want
that.
to worship
tryna-
all the time.
I'm not worshiping all day when I get the
What
hell.
else are you
I'm not
doing?
doing
He gonna-
that.
he gonna get up-
What else are you
What else
doing?
could be more
gonna get up
important
there
than
and fall
worshiping the God?
First of all, how you gonna feel in that presence? Crazy.
Show
That's
me
all
in
you
the
gonna be able to
Bible
do.
where it says we're worshiping all day. It's
crazy.
Please.
It's crazy.
Now, I'm here on
Our
earth now. and
producer,
I've
we
been-
have to go.
Hey, this
But
been the
Brenda, what
leftovers. No, just
Right.
All right, man, yo. Brenda, let them know they can follow you and all that good.
You can follow me on every platform at I am Brenda Palmer. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. What
Not Facebook.
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 Oh, no.
I don't really fool with Facebook.
Facebook,
That's
just
for
do it
old people.
on the third page. You'll find her.
Yeah, on the third. Obviously, you
past all the
can
white
find me.
folk.
Yeah. And check out my podcast, Life in Perspective.
Facts. So, yeah, we got to pull up on you at the party.
Y'all gotta pull
What's
up. Y'all gotta pull
Not at
up.
the potty.
Come
What did you
alive.
say? Anyway,
What's the party? What you about to say?
you ready?
Go ahead, and just take us out, sis. Go ahead.
I don't know what to say.
Just take us out. Go ahead.
Cause you wanted to say follow us and subscribe and all that.
There you
Stuff.
go.
Oh, okay. Make sure we still voting, right?
No, we're closing the interview.
Oh, we not done.
What we doing?
All right, Fresh
We
Leftover
done.
family. Make sure you go online and follow
Don't let him
Brenda
do you like that.
Brenda Palmer
We
on
was
all
done.
social
You
media
a liar.
platforms.
You a
Make sure
liar.
you follow Brenda on all social media platforms, man. We had an absolutely amazing time tonight. Y'all show her that Flow Mafia love, man, for real, for real. And tap in with everything she got going on, man. Flood her page, man, and hit that Flow Mafia button and let them know you here because of us. All right, tap in with her. We lay out, we out.